CTV News chief anchor and senior news editor Lisa LaFlamme joins me now from Rome. An unprecedented day, Lisa, and a long-awaited one for so many. Tell us a bit more about what the Pope had to say and what the reaction's been.
Well, Jen, you just heard Chief Fontaine say he didn't expect it, and I would say that all week long we've heard low expectations from the delegates that have made their way here to Vatican City. They didn't expect to hear, "I'm sorry." They wanted those 3 words, and in fact, they heard 4 words: "I am very sorry." There was a lot of emotion inside the room. There was cheering, there was crying, but more than anything, it was the empathy that the Pope showed that really resonated with the people here. They've had days of meetings with him, each section, the 3 delegations that are here, and have all conveyed the history of the experiences, that complicated and criminal relationship, really, with the residential schools and the Catholic Church. And this was a moment for them to travel here and not hear "I'm sorry," I think would have been absolutely a disappointment, even though, as I say, they weren't expecting it. Today it was clearly the right thing to do, and the Pope also promised that he would be coming to Canada. He made it very clear, though, and very wisely, that it will not be in winter. So we're hearing just from delegates here and the bishops that it's likely sometime in July, and that is going to also be sort of the second phase. If today was the international apology, it will be very personal when the Pope is on Canadian soil to make that apology.
Indeed, and he is a smart man, not coming in winter. But I know you also have one of the delegates standing by with you, Lisa, to get some more reaction.
I do, absolutely. And I am so honored to introduce, come on in, Mandy Gull-Masty, first female Grand Chief of your community. You were inside from northern Quebec. Give me, first of all, your reaction, what it was like to be inside. Were you expecting an apology today?
Waja, Lisa. I think today was really a historic moment for the visit with the Pope. The tone was very different from the previous visit. Being a delegate of the First Nations group, I was quite surprised. I think our group was very... we didn't have apprehension, but we were wondering what he would say. We felt we delivered a strong message. We were very confident in it. And today's outcome, I think, was really a major stepping stone for that.
Everything seemed to change on, I think it was Tuesday, when the delegates were allowed inside the Vatican to see the artifacts that have been collected over a century here at the Vatican from communities back in Canada, and recognizing the fact that these things should be brought home. Give me your perspective on whether that was a turning point this week.
I think that for the delegates that was. We did have an exclusive tour of the Anima Mundi collection. I had a moment where I was observing the Inuit delegation, and they were looking at sandstone artifacts and an Inuit kayak. It was very clear that they recognized that these items were sacred for them, held spirit, and they wanted to see some of these items returned to them. There was an openness from the Catholic Church's part, but I think that there's a lot of work on their part also to better understand why those values are sacred and how they should work with them.
And today, and the Pope was given yesterday, I guess symbols of reciprocity, moccasins and the cradle board. Give me the story behind the messaging there, as in, we give these to you now, you return them. Did you get the cradle board back today?
Yes, we did. I did see our spiritual advisor from the Haudenosaunee Nation wearing the cradle board as she came out. I was pleased. She informed me that the Pope had asked her to greet him with the cradle board upon her return with her clan mother. So I'm very proud that the Haudenosaunee Nation will have that opportunity to meet him upon his arrival to Canada.
We heard, I wasn't in that room, but I could hear cheering, and I know there was crying. Put me in that room.
I think, first of all, there was a lot of pride from the First Nations. We were able to do a cultural presentation. There was an Inuk man who performed with his drum, amazing fiddlers from the Métis Nation, as well as some powwow dancers that performed for the Pope as well. We were really proud to showcase that. But to hear his message was one that was challenging. It's hard to hear those words. It's a door opening. It is a success, but it's also very challenging. This is a hard file.
And it's also, as we've heard so often this week, a first step. So give me some understanding on what the I am very sorry changes for the community.
I think that today's presentation from the Pope was his moment to really show the international audience that he's apologizing and that he's making it known what his views are, what the position is of the Catholic Church. For us, I think it was an indicator that he is open. He will be coming to Canada. We are waiting for that moment where we know he will apologize in person to our survivors in Canadian territory, in Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit territories as well.
One of your youngest members was very prominent today with the snowshoes, presenting them to the Pope, and you're smiling, and yes, we were all crying. So give me that story. It's such a beautiful story.
I was really proud of my youth Grand Chief. He is actually the grandson of Dr. Billy Diamond, our first Grand Chief in Istchee. He presented a pair of snowshoes to the Pope. It was a moment that we felt was something historic for him to really follow in his grandfather's footsteps. So I'm really proud of him that he was able to make that presentation on behalf of Istchee.
But it's not lost on anyone that his grandfather, that was 40 years ago, Pope John Paul II, Phil Fontaine, Chief Fontaine was here in 2009. That was Pope Benedict. Never until this Pope has there been an apology. Do you think it's the measure of the man, or why this time?
I think that we're in a really different place in this world right now. Everything that happened with pandemic, it has changed us. It has made us realize that we really need to be closer connected as humans. I think Pope Francis really showcased that, and that must be something really challenging for him, to change the tone, to change the message. He took a brave step today. I think he has a longer journey to complete, but I want to acknowledge the work that he did today.
Can you give us any perspective, finally, on what you want that Canadian soil visit to look like? We are a massive country, and so many Indigenous communities right across the country that have been historically and presently impacted by the sins of the Church over history.
I think that there have been many requests for his visit, many locations put forward. Personally, I support the request for him to visit Kamloops. I think that that was really a moment of significance for all First Nations across Canada. We felt the pain, we felt the sorrow, we stood with them. And I think that was a moment that was also shared by Canadians as well. They came to understand there's more to this story that we don't realize. So I hope he goes there, and I would be very glad to see him in Métis territory and Inuit territory as well.
I know I said last question, but one more question. You just mentioned the unmarked graves, and Kamloops again was the moment that the world woke up to something the community knew all along. We knew it from the Truth and Reconciliation report that there were possibly thousands of unmarked graves. Was that, in your opinion, the moment that this long sought after apology seemed like it could be a reality, because you can't deny children taken from their families and disappearing?
I think that was the moment. I think that was the moment that really released the truth for what we were saying. It validated it, and I think that it really was historic and pivotal for me. I really stand with them, and I do hope that the Pope goes to visit them.
Chief, we thank you so much for your time today. And, again, it's been an emotional day, an emotional week, and I hope that this does help the community move forward. As you say, it's just the first step.
Thank you. Thank you, Miigwech.
Miigwech, okay. So, Jennifer, there you have it. So much is attached to those 4 words, I am very sorry today. Yes. The next stage is that the community, the Indigenous leaders, the delegates be at that table, the decision table on deciding what the tour will look like when the Pope does come to Canada. It was the Canadian bishops that organized this week in the Pope's home, and they want to be in charge, the Indigenous communities in charge of what when he comes to their home, what that tour will look like.
And Lisa, as we heard from your guest, still a lot of work to do, but so much symbolism from the cradle that was presented to the Pope to the tiny shoes you profiled last night on your show. Would you say this past week, as emotional as it has been and as much as there still is to do, was it a resounding success and perhaps even exceeded expectations?
It absolutely exceeded expectations. As far as it's a resounding success, remember, the community is also split. There are certainly people in Canada who say, why did these delegates have to come all the way to Rome? When they were wronged by the church on Canadian soil, they had to go to Rome to hear that apology. They weren't expecting it, as we said. But I would say all of the people, I can only tell you what I'm hearing from everybody here, and it is a relief, a joy. There's celebration. There was ceremonial dancing in Vatican Square. You can't deny what the people felt that came here. They are just representatives of their communities back home, and they have made that very clear. There were splits within various First Nations communities on whether or not this trip should even happen. In doing it, in getting that apology today, in getting that, there's no ticket purchased yet, but in knowing that the Pope will be going to Canada, they can go home to their people, to their communities and say, we came, we gave your story, and this is the response we got from the Holy Father. And I think absolutely, from the people I have spoken to, this is a success that has exceeded their expectations. The first step, this apology, there's a lot more on a lot of different levels, Jen. Compensation and unleashing those secret documents that will hold a lot of the truths as far as the forensics that is required in those thousands of unmarked graves. There's just so many layers to this. But today, this layer was one of great success and I think joy. There was joy. They loved the Pope. Everybody I spoke to just wanted to hug him, to be honest. And he does seem like an incredibly warm man, they told me, and the empathy shone through. And at the end, when he said, hey, don't forget to pray for me. I'll pray for you, but you pray for me. And because we know he's not in great health. He has a very bad knee. ACL surgery is something that might be in the works, I'm told from our Vatican insiders. So travel for an 85-year-old is never easy, which, by the way, I know I'm taking up so much time, but that's another important point. A lot of the elders that have come here, it is not an easy thing to go out and get all your vaccinations and all of that. The pandemic-related paperwork required to make a transatlantic journey like this. And I think they're going to get on that plane tomorrow. First of all, I'm sure they will sleep, but they will land back on Canadian soil knowing that this was a journey well worth it.
Indeed. And Lisa, thank you for your coverage from Rome. We do appreciate it as well, with all your insight and your empathy. Thank you. CTV News Chief Anchor and Senior News Editor, Lisa LaFlamme.